Benvenuto. Welcome to another scene from the life of servant of God, Father Dolindo. In the following passage, Father Dolindo, newly ordained, tells us about his experiences under a new superior. An older priest, Padre Volpe, and Father Dolindo were both assigned, for a brief period, in Taranto, a major seaport in southeastern Italy. This proved to be a time of great inner turmoil and tremendous spiritual growth for Father Dolindo. During his stay in Taranto, he was engaged in a fierce spiritual battle in which he fought with all his strength to overcome the natural human response of retaliating with rage and resentment under the severe humiliations and stinging insults thrust upon him by his superior. Father Dolindo paints a vivid verbal picture of the mistreatment and persecution he was subject to, and how he fought to control and vanquish his natural instincts to retaliate in kind. He writes, "I would never have imagined that my new superior in Taranto would put me through the novitiate for a second time. Padre Volpe and I had intended to commence our office as spiritual directors with a course of spiritual exercises. Even though I had only preached a few times in Naples, I had acquired the reputation of being a good preacher. The homilies I had written while still a student had been judged favorably by others, and I myself considered them good. The superior requested to hear my homilies. I read him the ones I thought were my best. But the superior interrupted, snapping, "These homilies are worthless, absolutely worthless. They will not do. Therefore, I will preach all the homilies myself while you accompany me in the chapel." This was a hard blow, and I felt it keenly. To do the spiritual exercises without preaching? Was it not for this very reason that I had been sent to Taranto? This was a crushing defeat. To face before the Archbishop and the seminarians. You cannot imagine how much it cost me to undergo this humiliation. I felt every nerve in my body rebelling. I felt like lashing out. I was filled with loathing towards Padre Volpe, along with a multitude of other violent temptations. I battled vigorously against all these temptations, however, and in order to better obtain victory over myself, I prayed the office of the laity with Padre Volpe. When the superior went down to the chapel to preach, I went with him, took off his zamara, and, after the homily, put it back on him. I served him at Mass, and then took a seat alongside the seminarians to listen and pray. My prayers were continuous, for my inner struggle was great indeed. The devil tempted me in every way. He tempted me not to go down to the chapel, not to serve Father as I was doing, but instead to give him a piece of my mind. But thanks be to God, I overcame myself and kept silent. In fact, I strove to perform every courtesy with genuine love, and was repaid with tongue lashings that intensified the spiritual combat raging within me. My mission of self-abnegation had begun. The superior did not consider it enough for me to be at Padre Volpe's beck and call. In addition, when the servant in the seminary was absent, he would give me the servant's humble, menial tasks. I was made to clean the seminary latrine, sweep the hallways, wash dishes, move furniture. On top of this, the superior would scream at me in front of the seminarians. And when I accompanied him to the Sisters of Charity, he would harshly berate me and humiliate me even in front of the sisters. While interiorly I was in extreme desolation, yet I was able to perceive that this severe cross was a gift from God. Let me explain. The Lord, in His goodness, had bound me to the cross He had carved for me, so that I would be obliged to go with Him wherever He pulled me. Thus He pulled me. This has always been the mercy that He has operated in my life. I have never attempted to enter on an extraordinary path. Indeed, I have always kept my distance from anything eccentric or out of the ordinary for fear of deceiving myself. As I have always been stupid and incapable of any initiative of my own, the Lord Himself has always led me throughout the various vicissitudes of my life. I have merely been pulled along like a whiny child who is forced to go wherever his father takes him by the hand. The only thing I was careful to do was to take every precaution not to commit even the least sin or the smallest imperfection if I became aware that something was a sin or failing. But even this consistent avoidance of sin was a result of God's great mercy freely bestowed on me. So ends Father Dolindo's detailed description of his time in Taranto and all that he underwent, causing him to grow in virtue through valiant combat, not giving in to his lower inclinations. May we all strive to imitate Don Dolindo's meekness and humility and love of the cross. Servant of God, Don Dolindo, pray for us. Thank you for watching and listening. Arrivederci. Ci sentiamo till next time.